Ja, scheint zu funktionieren, ne? Yay.
Treatment successful.
It worked.
It worked.
Just like that.
It's right there on the monitor. Zero metabolic activity.
Perfekt.
We did it.
Congratulations, Doctor.
So schön, wie das da oben einfach
Refrain from
einfach
celebrating.
abgeschnitten ist, ey.
We still need to determine how the treatment affects human subjects.
Hat auch ein Designer nicht
Really
aufgepasst.
think there's that big of a risk?
It's possible. We can't know for certain until we conduct a proper test.
Apollo's right. We need to run a human trial. Juno, prep the biobed. I'll feed you the parameters.
Affirmative, Doctor. What do you think you're doing?
Blubberndes Blut.
My medicine.
What about Olivia?
Once we're certain the cure works and is safe, then we will administer it to the captain.
In what reality does it make any sense for you to go first?
This isn't a discussion. I have to be the one. Chasing down this cure has been my life's work.
Right. And if something goes wrong, we're going to need your brain to fix it.
Captain Rhodes is right, Doctor. If you die, no one here would be able to carry on your work.
Ne, du hast jetzt 40 Jahre lang gewartet. Macht jetzt die paar Minuten auch nichts mehr aus.
I agree. Liv is the more rational choice. However, under the circumstances, I find myself compelled to ignore rationality.
It's okay, Jack. This is the right call.
Okay.
Juno, retract the emitter array.
Tell me how this is going to work?
We expose the biomass in your system to a low-level energy pulse of a very specific wavelength. Absorbing this energy will effectively terminate the biomass's metabolic processes, causing it to wither and die.
Think of it like a self-destruct command embedded in the biomass's base DNA.
Whoever designed it knew what they were creating and wanted a way to stop it if it ever got out of control.
Is this going to hurt?
If I said yes, would it change your mind?
Okay,
Nicht wirklich, ne?
let's do it.
I want to take a moment to triple check the math before we begin.
Whatever you have to do.
I'll let you know when we are ready.
Ja, Metabolic 80%.
Of course.
Klingt gut.
Jack, give me your hand.
Oh.
It's okay to be scared.
Was that intended for you or me?
Yes. Jack, look at me. This is going to work.
I look at you.
Oh God, now don't you start.
Popcorn.
It'll be alright.
Ich muss mich hier festhalten, weil die wischt mich hier durch die Gegend und das macht schon Kopfschmerzen. Hilfe. Was machst du, Captain? Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Initiating counterpulse emission
Now.
now.
Auch hier schön.
I'm okay.
Auch hier hat der Leveldesigner nicht aufgepasst.
Signs are stable. Metabolic pathways in
Schön,
the
schön, schön.
are failing.
It's working.
Cellular saturation in 10 seconds.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
5 seconds.
Es sticht nur ein bisschen, ne?
2, 1.
That's it. Shut it down.
Yay. Super.
Are you all right?
I'll say one thing. I'm never going to complain about those fabricators again. Well, what's the story? Did it work?
Go ahead. Tell her.
Yay.
Infection cleared.
Oh my God.
All traces of the biomass forms have been neutralized.
Apollo, is it acceptable to celebrate now?
It certainly appears so, yes.
Wupp, wupp.
Harlan, Thank you.
No.
Yes.
Group Hug. Popcorn, du musst mitmachen.
You mind if we keep walking?
Gruppenhack.
Now that we know the counterpass works,
Ja.
we should start walking.
Genug des Spaßes.
Harlan?
We'll need both focused and wide dispatch.
Geht wieder zurück zum Ernst.
Draw up some schematics and feed them to the fabricators.
I already have a number of ideas that I think could
Dr.
serve.
Harlan,
What?
the treatment, Harlan? You still have to undergo the procedure.
Right. Yes, of course.
Do you know?
Ach Gott, für eine ekelhafte Pampe. Bäh.
It's already done.
Very well.
Ja. Viel Glück, Doktor, ne?
Would you like Jack to hold your hand as well?
Start the procedure.
Mhm.
Harlan, are you alright?
Juno,
Vitals nominal. Blood pressure slightly elevated, but still within acceptable limits. 3 and rising.
Harlan?
Das sieht nicht gut aus, ne?
Blood pressure spiking.
10 seconds to cellular saturation.
Das dauert irgendwie schon länger als...
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Shutdown.
Vital stabilizing.
Das ist schlecht. Das ist nicht gut.
Past experiences. Though at the moment I can't really think of any.
Harlan?
What?
Captain Rhodes?
What is it? What's wrong?
It didn't work. The biomass survived the treatment.
Harlan?
Juno, get me out of here.
Ja, der ist jetzt natürlich ernsthaft enttäuscht.
I'll reset the biobed. We can try again.
No,
Perhaps the metrics were somehow altered between the 2 tests.
Juno.
Or maybe some cases simply require more than 1 cycle before clearing.
Juno, stop.
This isn't right. The treatment should have cleared both of us.
Apollo,
Yes, Doctor.
the biomass sample we were testing earlier, where was it from?
That particular sample was extracted from the wreckage of the Estrella.
So it was the more primitive strain.
That is correct.
I need a specimen from this time period. Something off the station.
I believe there is a sample from the research facility already seated in the cradle.
Rotate the sample into position.
Affirmative.
Ja, denn scheinbar
Run the test again. Same parameters as before.
sind unsere
Ready to
Sachen, die wir gescannt haben, wirklich nur für die primitiven Dinger gedacht. Und die sind schon zu hoch evolviert, als dass dieses Zeug irgendwie irgendwas bewirken würde. Ja, wer hätte das gedacht? Ne, hält nämlich und kommt wieder zurück.
It's working. The sample is withering.
Nicht wirklich. Ne, es hat überlebt. Schön. Evolution.
treatment. Ineffective.
Yeah, you don't say.
Apollo, analysis.
I'm still parsing the data, but it would appear the treatment only managed to temporarily suspend the biomass's metabolic pathways, rather than terminate them.
The future strain's resisting the treatment.
Correct. The treatment eliminates the biomass from the past, but any form from this time period it will only paralyze. Though at the moment, I can only speculate as to why this might be the case.
It's because it evolved. The biomass in the Astrea is still developing, still vulnerable. But the strain from this time period has been running rampant for 4 centuries. Nora was right. There really is no stopping it.
We're too late.
Only by about 1 or 200 years.
So that's it. We failed.
So ein bisschen, ne?
We didn't fail.
Harlan?
Does he want us to follow him?
I have no idea. But I'm going to.
Ich komme mit. Madame, beziehungsweise, halt, stopp. Ich will über das Medical Bed reden.
Similar to other equipment on the Argos, this medical bed appears to have been added as a retrofit.
Relatively recently, in fact. The previous medical bed was not equipped for the doctor's specific needs.
You mean to monitor his infection?
Indeed. Though, given that the standard configuration is only capable of diagnosis and analysis work, it has been modified to administer treatments as well.
Okay, was haben wir hier?
When examined side by side, evolutionary differences between the two periods of biomass become quite apparent.
Indeed. The development of overt receptor buds makes this modern, evolved form quite distinct. We believe this adaptation is comparable to the tentacle-like appendages found on modern ticks and cysts.
Gut. Dann sind wir hier durch. Da können wir uns hier noch umgucken. Und wie gesagt, ich finde es irgendwie kacke, dass die Texturen nicht geladen werden. Und ich probiere jetzt mal eben was aus. Settings. Texture Quality Medium. Keine Ahnung, ob es was bringt. Ich befürchte mal nicht. Weil das Spiel auch irgendwie dann neu geladen werden müsste. Aber irgendwie haben wir hier ein Streaming-Problem.
The Argos was commissioned March 17th, 2124.
Ja, das könnten wir jetzt auch lesen, wenn wir es denn
Junior grade,
hätten.
T. Jankowski.
Lieutenant Junior grade.
Does that surprise you?
Yeah, a little. I mean, the Argos isn't exactly big, but commanding a vessel, even just a support tender, it's a serious responsibility. Though I suppose it would have been part of a fleet. And having an exemplary junior officer might not have been unreasonable.
Given that the vessel has survived this long, I would imagine Lieutenant Jankowski was the first of many exemplary commanders.
Fair enough. Then cheers to Lieutenant Jankowski.
Na, guckt, zack, sind die Texturen da.
Cheers.
Na, die noch nicht. Warum nicht? Na, der Captain's Chair ist jetzt zumindest ein bisschen schöner geworden. Sehr komisch, dieses Spiel.
The Argos features the same model of command chair we had on the Kronos 2.
Yeah, I think Atlas ordered them in bulk. I actually buckled in for a moment.
Da, jetzt ist es da.
I fooled myself I was back on the Kronos.
So, was haben wir hier? Quarters. Schick, schick. Wen haben wir denn hier gehabt? Harlan. Harlan. Dr. Harlan. Er hat zusammen mit Hatfield gedient. Notizen. Generator. Ergo. Ding. Positioning. Oh, ein Foto.
Dr. Harlan, there is a photograph in your quarters depicting you in...
Out of my quarters. Now.
He was just curious.
My personal life is not a curiosity to explore.
Dr. Harlan, I apologize for infringing on your personal boundaries. I did not intend to cause you distress. I will make every effort to avoid doing so in the future.
Ja.
See? Not the warmest apology, but he's sincere.
Besser ist, ne?
Nora said the same of my apologies. So, fine. But please do not indulge your curiosity, Father. We didn't fail. We just learned something new. We learned there's a window, a certain point in time wherein the biomass was still vulnerable, when it could be stopped.
Yeah, that point's long past.
You're right. If only we had some way to travel back in time.
Transmitting Jack's protocols back in time won't help us here, Doctor.
It's also impossible without a working FTL.
For that plan to work, Jack would have to physically bring a counterpulse device back with him. Something he can't do digitally.
I'm not talking about digital time travel.
Oh, I see.
Where have I seen this before?
Ja, wo wohl?
I believe that is one of the Estrella's FTL drives. I recall seeing a number of them while retrieving the fuel cell from the
Das sind ja die Backups noch.
What do you think, Apollo? Could it work?
I'll need to run some models, but it's possible.
What the hell are you two on about?
I'll explain everything once Jack and I are on our way to the Estrella.
We'd best get moving.
Ja, schon ist Apollo wieder in uns.
One of you gives me something resembling an explanation.
Captain Rhodes.
No, if you want to send Jack back out to that plague-infested garbage scow, you have to at least give a reason.
And we wait. But the longer we wait, the less chance we have to succeed.
Warum ist das hier Hall, wenn die doch ihre Visiere aufhaben?
I know I already asked far too much of you both, but I have taken this as far as it can go
Wohl, nee, die sind tatsächlich offen.
to finish it.
Sein Visier ist noch zu.
Need us to do.
Jack, you and I will make our
Ihres
way
ist
back to
offen.
the Estrella's drive
Seins ist zu. Warum hat er Hall?
distance to unlock the FTL housing. Captain Rhodes, if you would remain here with Dr. Harlan, there's some specialized equipment you'll need to fabricate and assemble.
Oh, brilliant.
Opening airlock.
Tschüss. Ich geh da mal raus, ne?
Jack. Good luck.
Dankeschön, Dr. Harlan. Er nennt mich Jack und nicht Echo One. Wir sind Freunde.
Stand by.
Er nennt mich Jack. Ach, ist das schön.
Don't let those ticks give you too much hassle.
Kein Ding.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I just like reminding you to be careful. So, be careful.
Ja. Ich versuche es. Bye, bye.
Yes. That's an order.
Wie war das? Bye, bye bei Junimond oder so?
Exiting portside airlock.
We need
Yes.
to make our way back to the Estrella, to the auxiliary drive bay.
All right, Apollo, you're on your way. I'm waiting for my explanation.
Da, ne?
Simply transmitting Jack's consciousness into the past won't work this time. However, if we were to appropriate one of the Estrella's remaining FTL drives, the Doctor and I believe we may be able to use it to return both you and Jack to the 22nd century.
You're saying we might be able to go home?
I'm reticent to make any assurances, but yes, I believe it is possible, assuming at least one of the drives is still operational.
I thought you said we couldn't access the drives because of all the biomass.
That was before we had the counterpulse.
Well, that's great, but do you have some way for Jack to administer it?
Jack, make your way to the nearest fabricator. I have a new modification for your shell.
Understood.
Mhm. Kriegen wir neuen Kram. Upgrades sind immer super.
Integration successful. Your new counterpulse device is ready to be equipped.
I recommend we run a field test before proceeding further. Those ticks feeding on the substation should make for suitable targets.
Ich habe jetzt eine Waffe.
Field test
Yay, und jetzt sind die tot.
A weapon.
a focused counterpulse emitter, based on a design from my own timeline and calibrated to the same wavelength as the treatment we administered via the medical pod.
Cure gun? Nice.
Cure Gun.
Understand, this device will only eliminate the older, more primitive biomass. The more evolved forms from this time period will just be temporarily incapacitated.
Regardless, it should make short work of the biomass surrounding the Estrella's FTL drives. It's possible with more research data we could refine the treatment wavelength even further, making the device that much more efficient.
Which would allow the emitter to discharge more shots before overheating.
Certainly fixed you right up, didn't we?
We're ready to proceed to the drive bay. In the meantime, Captain Rhodes, I will need you to assemble a custom gantry to secure the FTL once it's in our possession. I've already fed the necessary specifications to the fabricators.
Good. I'm in the mood for a bit of work.
Moving out into the debris field now.
Just get that FTL and get back here quick as you can. No sense spending any more time over there than you need to.
Agreed.
Alright, let's assume this works. Let's say you two track down a working FTL. We get it hooked up and Apollo manages to recreate a physical time jump that, by some miracle, sends us back home to our own time. How exactly are we supposed to eliminate all the biomass once we're there? I mean, it's not like we can just set off a bomb and blow it all to smithereens.
Doch.
That's exactly what you're planning to do.
Natürlich.
Well, not a bomb so much as a device that will unleash a sudden and forcible burst of energy across a widespread area.
So, a bomb.
The bomb.
A bomb. But one that emits a counterpulse that should only be harmful to the biomass.
Brilliant.
I am a tactical AI. Most of my solutions tend to involve some form of explosion.
Auch schön.
I think we should trust Apollo. After all, he has yet to steer us wrong.
How did we end up in the future again?
That was an accident.
Ah, so.
And considering the alternative was dying in a torrent of fire, I stand by my actions.
Alright, fair enough.
Fair enough.
This cure bomb of yours. I mean, I could do it, but my hands are a bit tied at the moment.
I can easily repurpose existing equipment to construct a counterpulse dispersion catalyst.
Cure bomb.
Cure
Very
bomb.
well. Cure bomb. We will also need a means of transport, ideally one that can regulate the catalyst's energy signature.
The cargo drones should be more than capable of assembling the materials we need.
Excellent. I will transmit the details.
If even one tick begins feeding on these radiation dampeners, they lose power.
Wait a second. How is Jack's reboot ability supposed to work in the past without the fabricator network?
My design for our makeshift transport includes a single fabricator to accommodate Jack's reboot for the duration of our mission. Once we've detonated the catalyst and are out of danger, we can address reintegrating Jack's protocols into an Atlas network.
Assuming all this goes to plan.
Well, yes. It would be rather difficult to operate on the opposite assumption.
So, darf ich jetzt bitte über die Drohne reden?
If even one tick begins feeding on these radiation dampeners, they lose power.
More opportunities for you to field test that new counterpulse emitter.
Ja, und es kann overheaten. Toll. Wunderbar. Okay, beim Charging Dock hätten wir das auch erzählen können. Aber ich finde es irgendwie auch ein bisschen doof, dass der dann auch nicht aufhört. Oder dass dann das neue Gesprächsding nicht einfach delayed wird. Bis zum nächsten Punkt.